relationship hopping. Remember, they used to try to make us think a real alpha was a player. That ain't true. Alpha is not a player. Don't let them trick you and redefine what an alpha is. Relationship hopping. If someone is a fake alpha, they may use their relationship status as a social tool or a bragging right, which means they want somebody who will look good and make them look good. Don't make no difference about no substance. Yeah, arm candy, right. No, exactly. So a lot of times you see entertainers or basketball superstars or people like that, they got the arm candy. Not always though, because Denzel Washington been married for a long time and his wife, she beautiful, but she ain't one of them young arm candy type girls. She's like his age. She's a gorgeous woman, but she's not like one of them young girls that a lot of dudes run out and go get once they become successful, or they think that it's going to make them look better. Yeah, you're going to look better, because who don't want to walk into the bar or the sports bar with a fine young thing on their arm? Bragging rights. That's not an alpha. They are always in a relationship or searching for the next one because they may feel insecure about being single or alone. A fake alpha cannot be alone. So they get out of one relationship and hop right into the next one. Haven't been single no more than a month sometimes before they hop into another relationship. Don't take the time to get to know a person. Don't take the time to court somebody, to do it properly. You just hopping from one relationship to the other. That's not an alpha. Solitude seems like a sign of weakness for a fake alpha. Real alphas know there's nothing wrong with being alone. Fake alphas might find more success in their relationships if they spent a little time getting to know themselves, opposed to hopping out of one relationship into the next one. Being alone allows you to figure out what you want for yourself and your relationship. As you come to understand your needs, you can make changes and grow as an individual instead of rushing into another ill-fated relationship. It makes sense, don't it? Emotional emasculation. Emotional emasculation. Fake alphas characterize emotions as weakness, and they regularly criticize men who are sensitive and emotionally available. It's hard to hold it in, man, when you want to cry. Yeah, well, not necessarily, man. Some people, you ever been hungry?
Yes, sir.
And then talk yourself out of being hungry, and then like maybe 30 minutes later, you don't feel hungry no more? Yeah, man. Some people do the same thing. They suppress their emotions. You don't want to cry because that don't seem manly. And we all, come on, man. Come on. We all have heard that. We all was raised that way. When you was a little kid, maybe you was different. Maybe you was raised differently, man. But if you was crying, man, you got called a punk by the women in the family. Because it was mostly women around us. The men wasn't around. It was your aunties. It was your older cousins. It was your mama. It was your grandmama. It was your mama's older friends. They were the ones who, when you fell down and was crying, don't be no punk. Get up, stand up. That's not healthy. That is emotional emasculation. Being angry is normal. There's nothing wrong with being angry. I'm telling you right now, I don't care what they told you. There is nothing wrong with being angry. It's what you do when you become angry that becomes a problem. You are allowed to be angry. Don't tell yourself when you're angry, I'm not angry, or I shouldn't be angry. Yes, you should be, especially if somebody did something to you. But it's what you do with the anger that's important. But just trying to act like you're not angry is not helping you. They embrace the harmful stereotype that an alpha should always be stoic, a person who can endure pain and hardship. You don't have to endure pain and hardship to prove that you are a man. That's the problem with us men. We think we can endure pain and hardship. We think we're supposed to endure that stuff. And we're never supposed to ask for help. Or we're never supposed to go seek counseling or a class. You know how many people done got into a fight and jumped on their old lady, and now they got to go to anger management, or jumped on their child, and they got to go to anger management classes. They like, oh, I'm going to go to anger management classes, and then they end up going in and it changes their life. That's why they send you to those classes, because they know if you take them seriously, they can change your life. They embrace the harmful stereotype that an alpha should always be stoic, rugged, and dominant. But natural alphas know that true strength means accepting and embracing your vulnerabilities, A confident and secure alpha expresses their feelings clearly and spends time reflecting on what those feelings mean. They aren't afraid to be emotional because they know that expressing emotions is healthy and empowering. That expressing emotions is healthy and empowering. Someone who suppresses may call themselves an alpha, but the truth is that they're struggling with deeper insecurities. Reflections of your character. Do you know someone who refuses to take responsibility for their mistakes? They will lie about it. They will never say I'm sorry, or they will never admit that I was wrong. They'd rather lie about it or come up with an excuse why they couldn't do something. They got a lot of excuses when it's just easier to say, you know what, I made a mistake, I'm sorry. Fake alphas are relentlessly stubborn, and when they do something wrong, they hardly ever accept responsibility for their mistakes and failures, and they never apologize to the people they wronged. In most cases, a fake alpha knows when they've made mistakes, but instead of apologizing, they pass the blame, they make excuses, and they act like a victim, protect their fragile ego. They do all this to protect their fragile ego. Some insecure fake alphas go to the great length to spin lies and stories in their favor. They ignore facts, they twist people's words, and carelessly leave out important details. Also, they can avoid responsibility for their failures. A real alpha owns their mistakes and sincerely apologizes for their failures, because making a mistake does not reflect their character. On the other hand, avoiding responsibility shows precisely what kind of a person you are. The source of aggression. You are the source of aggression. It does not make you an alpha. You beefing with some people, and you standing there arguing with them, but then as soon as your family pull up, you all of a sudden they gotta hold you back.
Oh, come on.
Come on now. You are not an alpha. Your family is beefing, because y'all know when you become older, become the older family member, you might show up on the scene and your cousins them going off or going at it with the neighbors, or some people from down the street, or some people from around the block, and here they family standing out there, and you pull up and your family standing out there. So when you pull up, do your family do that? Oh, they can't hold them back now. Oh, now it's time to go off. When you pull up, you are not an alpha. Because when the alpha pulls up and their family and people are out there and they about to beef and start going off, and your younger cousins out there cussing and acting like they about to shoot and kill somebody, and when you pull up, they like, oh, there was my uncle, I better cut it out. That's an alpha. That's an alpha, because an alpha, just by their mere presence, can change people's attitudes. If when you show up, they get rowdy about it, you are not the alpha in the family. When you show up and everybody starts simmering down and cooling off because now you on the scene and you don't take no stuff, that's the alpha. Oh man, we're gonna clearly define alpha today. Yeah. In moments of conflict, genuine alphas maintain control of their emotions and calmly diffuse heated arguments. They know that no one is constructive when their emotions have taken hold, so they give themselves and other people a chance to think clearly before progressing the situation further. Fake alphas are more emotional and impulsive. They view every conflict as a challenge to their authority or social status. Instead of diffusing or neutralizing conflict, fake alphas let their emotions get the best of them. They pick fights with others and demonstrate aggressive behavior, which they think proves their masculinity. And my thing is, if you know how to really get down, you don't have to push your weight around. If you really know what to do with these things, you don't have to bully people. What you hoping is that somebody don't try you. I'm swearing to you, when you're good with these things, you hoping somebody don't try you, because you know you're going to end up hurting them or messing them up. And you don't want to hurt or mess nobody up for no reason. That's an alpha. Somebody who everywhere they go, they getting into a fight, eye split, back of the neck split because you got hit in the head with a bottle at the bar. Come on, that's not an alpha. That's somebody who's trying to speed up their death, because all of that has an expiration date. They pick fights with others and demonstrate aggressive behavior, which they think proves their masculinity. But anger and aggression are rarely ever the answer. A true alpha knows to pick his battles and not allow battles to pick him, because everything isn't a fight. Man, if they could tell that to every young man on the earth, it would save you a whole lot of BS. Because a whole lot of stuff you think got your name written on it really don't have your name written on it at all. And there's a lot of things, man, that's beneath you to even respond to. Some things is just not even worth your time. You driving in traffic, and some dude pull up next to you and call you an a-hole and stick his finger at you and then peel out. You gonna chase that man? Let that clown go. Some things is not worth your time. You beefing with somebody over some money that they owe you, and you going back and forth, and it's getting worse and worse with you and this person over this little bit of change. Let that change go. If that's all it took for you to realize what kind of person they are, you won. Take that $100. Take that $5. Because I had a dude in here took a $5 out of his pocket and threw it on the ground for somebody. Like they can pick it on up. But he wasn't acting like that when he came to borrow it. Stereotypical titles. You can call yourself something and it doesn't make you that. The most obvious sign that someone is not an alpha is their overuse of the term alpha. Remember, we talked about that yesterday. There are a lot of things that are not for us to say. If I'm a good dad, let my kids say I'm a good dad. If I'm a good son, let my mom say I'm a good son. If I'm a good brother, let my brother say that I'm a good brother. That ain't for me to say. You running around for, I'm an alpha, I'm an alpha, I'm an alpha. You're probably not if you got to keep saying it. I mean, that's an obvious sign. Because if you really an alpha, people will see it. Fake alphas habitually call themselves alphas because they want others to recognize their dominance, and their leadership. They rely on titles and stereotypes to define their personalities because they are deeply insecure about who they really are. What profit a man to gain the world and lose his entire soul? Came in here naked and you gonna leave naked, brother. If someone is an alpha, they don't need to announce it to the world. A real alpha doesn't use titles and stereotypes because they don't carry any value or tell you who a person really is. A title does not tell you who a person is. Real alphas are confident and comfortable in themselves, and that's what makes them true alphas that we talked about. How y'all feel about that, though?
Very good.
Stereotypes? And alphas? Let's get that straight, man, because a lot of times we think alphas, you got to be aggressive, you got to be rugged, ain't nothing wrong with being rugged, you know, ain't nothing wrong with letting your beard grow and all that other stuff. That's cool. Ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of aggression if you're playing a sport, you're playing pool, or, you know what I'm saying, you're playing football or basketball game or something like that. But as a way of life, if you keep living a life of aggression, you're going to be aggressive with your girl. You're going to be aggressive with your kids. You don't need to be aggressive with them. There's only certain situations you might need aggression. Most cases, you don't need it. You get more bees with honey than you will with a stick. Yeah, you will.
Talk about when you that emotional emasculation. Start telling you from a child not to cry, man, especially male. Anyway, male. Eventually, you start shutting off everything as you start getting older. Next thing you do, you're a grown man and you don't smile, you cut off the joy factors. You know, and you look at life like people start looking like you're dealing with a woman. They're like, why are you so cold? When you were brought up from the start, that seed was put in you to behave that way. Don't be a real person. Just you know, I don't want to be bothered based on what they're thinking. I don't want to be bothered with trying to nurture you. So stop crying.
Or they don't know how.
Probably done the same way.
Really? If you haven't, you learn from your parents. So when you fall and you get hurt and they, come here, baby, because you got some parents, that's what they do. They are nurturers. So when you get hurt, they scoop you on up. They carry you somewhere safe. They just go out of their way to make sure you okay. They wipe down the little wound. They put something on it. Let me kiss the little wound. You know that didn't really do anything, but for you it did. That's a nurturer. So that's how you learn how to be that way. But if when you fell and hurt your leg, people were like, shut up and stop crying. Quit being a punk and get up. Because there are a lot of people who do that. Yeah. You more than likely, unless you unlearn that, if you haven't unlearned that and that's normal to you, you're going to do the same thing. When your kid fall, get up, don't be no punk. You know, you're going to be the same way. If compassion is taught. But see, the thing about it is the same way Tim just kind of explained that to us. And that's probably what ended up happening to him. That's probably how he feels about himself. That's probably why he was able to explain that so well. The thing about that is, if he's able to explain it that way, he's able to fix it. Because the first level of getting past that is acknowledgement. You got to acknowledge you got a problem before you can fix a problem. So the fact that he's saying, yeah, because you end up being mean and then, yeah, and then as a young kid, you grow up and everybody started accusing you of being mean. Why you look so mean? He's just a mean person. And then eventually as you become an adult, oh, he just mean. You don't want, and it be your family saying that. You meet somebody new in the family, you go out of town and they ask you want something. Oh, don't worry about him. He's just mean all the time. How did y'all raise me to be? Y'all raised me. All the ones had the switches on deck. Non-stop. When you couldn't get your hand on the switch, you had the extension cord. You had more negative words coming out your mouth than encouragement coming out your mouth. You're putting me down more than you were lifting me up. But see, the thing about that is you don't have to stay in that. Once you realize that you don't want that to be a part of your life, you start to change it. Because what's been learned can be unlearned. I don't care what it is. Some of us got that thing, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. That was a lie. You can teach an old dog anything.